So
Yeah.
building that email list ASAP, that's one thing I always recommend.
Okay. And how do you do that? What's the best way to grow an audience via email, especially on Substack?
Well, that's the beauty of Substack, right? It's that email is their primary thing.
Mhm.
So where with most other social media platforms, you're building followers and then you have to get them on an email list. With Substack, it's all about subscribing to your publication, which basically is a newsletter. So
Mm.
then you already have their email address. So that's also a big reason why I think a lot of people are jumping on Substack right now and why it's so popular. Because starting an email list on ConvertKit or other email service providers, if you're unfamiliar with all the tech, it can be quite intimidating. I
Mm.
mean, if you know how to do it, it's fine. But for most people, it's like, okay, how do I even do this? And Substack makes it really easy, right? And intuitive, and it's all designed to get you email subscribers. So on Substack, you can actually focus more on the content part and creating high valuable content rather than having to think of what freebies do I need to create? How do
Mm.
I get people to join? Like, make an opt-in page that converts well. Well, you don't have to think about that too much.
Mm. Yeah, I love that about it as well. Yeah, Substack was such a game changer for me whenever I first joined it, and once I started using notes on a regular basis as well, that really did change the game even further. What kind of stuff have you found, Yari, that will encourage scrollers and followers to subscribe to your publication? What kind of notes, for instance, are like conversion sort of notes for you guys?
That's a great question.
Mm.
So when writing notes, indeed, like you said, people are scrolling through their feed, like
Mm.
any other feed, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram. People are scrolling through notes as well. So the most important thing is that you capture attention. Now, this doesn't mean you have to scream. It doesn't mean you have to go wild, but it means write your note in a way that at least gets someone to stop scrolling.
Mm.
So the hook is very important. So the first sentence, right? What's the first sentence of your note? Um, Make sure that it grabs someone's attention. So use more emotional words or be specific. So, for example, here's how I grew my list from 0 to 1,000 subscribers. Okay,
Mm.
that's a hook. And if you would describe your note like, well, if you want to grow an email list, you could consider doing this. Like, no one
Yeah.
will read it; they will scroll, right? So, a very powerful first statement that gets someone to stop scrolling and gets their attention, because that's the basis.
Mm.
Then format it in a way that keeps people's attention. So using bullet points, putting things in bold, in italic, using a lot of white space. That's really short form writing, capturing attention 101. And when it comes to notes, it's it's designed in a way that you can click on someone's profile really quick and hit the subscribe button straight away.
Mm.
So notes is not a magic bullet. Not everyone who will read your note will subscribe. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, but a percentage will. So that also means if you consistently write notes, at least one a day, that's what I recommend.
Mm.
That means you will get subscribers from that.
Yeah. I want to go back to what you said there in the midst of that, about white space. Why do you think white space is really important on notes? I know I've heard this before, and I understand how it works, I suppose, in the back of my mind, but I'm bad at articulating why that's effective. Why would you say white space is key for notes?
It makes it inviting for people to read.
Mm.
If it looks like an essay, people will keep scrolling. That's just most people will,
Mm.
because it's that white space gives your brain this feeling of like, oh, this is I can skim this. I can easily read this in a few seconds. If
Mm.
it's a complete essay, there's no white space, there's nothing in bold. It's like, this will take me a lot of time. I'll scroll on. And that decision is made completely on autopilot. It's made in a split second. No one consciously thinks, oh, this looks like it's too long, I'll scroll. No, it's automatic.
Yeah.
So that's the unfortunate nature of social media, right? Our attention spans are short, unfortunately. So if you want to stand out, you do need to play that game. But that's why with Substack, what I like, notes is just one feature of it. Notes, it's just a way of saying, hey, this is who I am, and I can give you a quick tip. But
Mm.
if you want the full meal, right, your note is a snack. If you want the full meal, here's my publication, here's my
Mm.
long form writing. So it's just a way of like getting people into the door of your publication.